All right, this is your market recap for June 5th, 2025. Today we played a retrace on the weekly range, coming back to equilibrium of a move that we started on Monday. So if we go down to the hourly time frame, we have, we can see here market opened Sunday here, down move, up move, equilibrium of that is here, but of the whole move. Oops. Lower. Not entirely sure what this is. Oh, that's that equilibrium, which is just completely wrong. So, what it really should be is this, which that's perfect. Look, the low of this is 503.50, and you see here's 503.25. That's perfection. Yeah. So what happened today? It'll be a little easier to see on the 15-minute, so we'll talk about it there. Not much on the hourly though. No gaps, no nothing. Kind of just more. I'm not gonna call it seek and destroy because it had a reason for doing it. But if we go down to the 15-minute, we can see. Here we are. We had. Oh geez, we had pre-market news. That's for sure. I don't believe it was 8:45. I believe it was 8:30 news. Which took out these lows here. And then shortly after that, we took out this high. So that leaves me going into the market with not really much to go off of, which is reason number one why I didn't trade. Even so, I saw we opened and came down and said, okay, with how we swept this and the time that we're at during the macro, which is this little box here, probably going to reverse, play, take out this high and this high, right? And we did that. And then we reversed for lunch and kind of continued that move all the way back down to equilibrium. We can see here, we've made this move up. And since Tuesday, we've kind of just been going horizontal. So it was only a matter of time before we tipped over and retraced. But I don't know that I would have expected it to be lunch that did it. So if we go down to the 5-minute, you can see more. Oh, sorry. Another reason why I didn't trade today is because NFP is tomorrow. And that threw a wrench in AM session and made me just not want to look. I mean, if we just look at the amount of wicks here, the wicks, the one green or so, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. Not really the markets I want to trade in. Also, really deep retrace. This is usually what happens around NFP. Runs get a little crazy. They retrace farther than they should. They, do new sorts of things. But we can see, again, 8:30 news took out this low. And then shortly after that, 8:45, we took out this high over here. I don't think we need this. Let me just throw it down. 503.25. 7.5. All right. Get rid of this. Yeah, so we took out this high, we came out, took out this low, and then we see the lack of desire to continue. So that has me playing bullish. My profits for that move were here and here. And if it wanted to really extend up here, because that's another source of liquidity that I found. But this is the main one, right? If we look in this realm here, we just took out this high, so we need a decent sized retrace, which would land us here. So we took that out, and it's pretty evident that we took it out and we kind of started going horizontal. So is that a sign that we're going to reverse? No, because we could either retrace or reverse. It is a sign that we're going to play bearish though. That and the time at which it is lunch. Again, during the macro, started the bearish move, took out this low. Took it out a little shallow, in my opinion, for us to retrace instead of reverse. But we did retrace. Algorithm kicked back in. And then we just continued that bearish move. From my experience, usually when lunch makes a larger move than AM session, it is not a retrace. It is a reversal on the short time frame thing. Meaning, since we only played bullish this amount in AM session, and lunch completely undid all of that work and took out that low, we're likely to continue to play bearish after that. Lunch usually, and I say usually, doesn't. It might do 50% of AM session range or something like that to get into equilibrium or a discount. But rarely does it come out all the way, take out the low of AM session, and then continue bullish again or continue in the direction that AM session went. It usually switches from there. Now, if we go down to the 1 minute, there's a couple SMTs I want to point out. First one being this one. This is what I looked at this morning, right? Not the cleanest price action here. Again, took out lows, took out highs before market, as market opened. Ran up, took out these highs, ran down, took out these lows. So I said, okay, next one here. Dragged down here. Again, barely took the low, showed little desire to continue it. SMT of these lows, that made me start to look at this fair value gap here. But this is what I mentioned. Usually wouldn't want to see this retrace lower than this low, but it did. And I believe that is because NFP is tomorrow. Same with here. We've already extended all the way up here. Ideally, I'd like to see price stay within these two candles right there as far as retrace goes. But SMT here, we end up playing the right direction, but just a little off on the start. Again, profits would have been here and here. This would have hit SMT at this high as well. ES did not break this high. And as you can see, once we broke it, we kind of just went horizontal from there, kind of started to round everything. And with it being lunch, we are going to expect a retrace on AM session's most recent move. So that means our target would be this liquidity here. Now, I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to predict that we'd run all the way down. I did have equilibrium marked earlier today, but I don't believe I have the ability to pick when we're actually going to make that run. So all I noticed is we took out this high, started playing horizontal, and it's lunchtime, and we're most likely going to reverse on reverse on AM session's move. So during the macro, we have no lower time frame SMT, so no real confirmation that we are going to move, but we have something in this macro that tells us we are more likely than not to make that retrace. Big thing for me is, actually, there's no change in the state of delivery here. It's not perfect, right? It's not perfect, but if you are confident enough to take this without a change in the state of delivery, this is what it would have looked like. So first, bullish fair value gap here, validated in my opinion when this wick here is created and this body closes outside of it. And so once we come down here and close below it and retrace back up into it, that's when I'm in. I'd be in right here, and my stop would go at equilibrium or consequent encroachment of that wick plus a couple ticks. And then obviously I'd target here, right there, or more like equilibrium. And I mean, look at that. Perfect. Perfectly hit equilibrium there. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is that there's no change in the state of delivery that I can see. It's possible that this right here and then this movement below it is a change in the state of delivery on a 15-second, which is fine. It's fine by me. But I don't have that up right now. So that would have been the move. We then retrace up this 5 minute here, expand lower, taking out these lows. Like I said earlier, if lunch retraces the entire move of AM session, we're most likely going to stop trading how we did in AM session and continue how we traded in lunch. So then we have this most recent move, equilibrium of there. Again, we hit it, kind of started to round things out. No SMTs of these highs, but you can see we start trailing up and then we kind of start tipping over. You see bigger red candles than we see green. And so if we're talking change in the state of delivery, we get here. Change the state of delivery, fair value up here. If you're waiting for the macro, oops, I don't know why that's so big. We're waiting for the macro. You could catch order block. Oops, that's just the wrong tool. Order block here. Right, order block retraced up during the macro. So if that's your cup of tea, you could have taken this. Bang. Stop for this, in my opinion, constant encroachment of this wick plus a couple ticks. And again, target liquidity. So that actually would have been a pretty nice trade. Kind of just takes off and goes straight to the target. Yeah, once we hit that, we retrace again to equilibrium. Past it. Once we hit it, again, horizontal, start to tip over. Another fair value up here. Again, during the macro. I mean, it's simple at this point. Kind of copy and paste all these trades. But again, the reason I'm not taking these is because it's NFP. And I personally don't feel comfortable taking trades in these market conditions as of now, right? I might, seeing how copy and paste all of these setups are, you know, next month, I might look to actually take a trade on NFP, Thursday at least, that is. Yeah, and then we just ran down to equilibrium. Almost touched it. I think we were one tick away, but you know, that's close enough for me. That would have been the target here, in my opinion. We would have done bang, entry there, stop once again, constant encroachment of this wick, targeting liquidity there, and that. Now, would we have gotten out at this? Not on TradingView, but it's possible that on Tradeovate it would have ticked me out. So yeah, I mean, if you're trading during the macro, if your stop is right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winning trades. I mean, I think the only macro that you weren't able to take a trade on is this one, the 10 to 11. And even that, boom, we retraced, right? Retrace. So you could have taken that one long as well. Very simple. Very simple. Honestly, cleaner price action than I would have expected from Thursday of NFP week. But like I said, with the experience that I have, I don't feel comfortable taking trades on a day like today, especially with recent price action. But in the future, I may opt to enter but have lower leverage. We'll really see. I mean, I've got, a whole month to brainstorm that. But yeah, looking into the future, tomorrow we have NFP. We just retraced this range here. We opened here, so as long as price doesn't come down to that, I'd look for another expansion. Since we just reached equilibrium, give or take, I mean, it's one tick away. I think that's good enough. I'm looking for Asian session and London session to expand, pre-market to retrace, New York session to expand tomorrow. Hopefully taking out this high, and then I think these are too big of a stretch, definitely too big of a stretch. Honestly, I would say our buy side target's taken. I mean, we fulfilled our buy side target. I would at least like to get back up into this fair value gap. That's the draw that I see for tomorrow and where I see us closing out the week. Yeah, because that would put us like right here, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I mean, we really just have to see what NFP brings tomorrow, what overnight session, I'll call it that, what that brings and whatnot. So this has been your market recap for June 5th, 2025.